This is the Jared Presley Experience. I am Jared Presley, and this is the Arthur Rachel Black, and I believe it's pronounced the Foundling of Anacreon, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
wasn't sure how to
exactly.
pronounce that. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know
kind
these.
of a strange word.
Yeah,
The
I don't.
founding of Anacreon.
It's not a word I use often, so it's hard to talk about it without spoiling it, but I'll it kind of reminds me in a way just because of the time period. And I know it's fictional, but as far as the Odyssey and some of the there's a lot of mythology in it. It kind of reminded me of I don't know if you're familiar with Joseph Campbell and his work on mythology. I kept coming back to that. Like he had a book about the power of myth. Um
Oh.
and it is without spoiling too much, it is mythology definitely within the story. So how would you pitch the story as far as, and again, for the audience, this is a comic slash graphic novel, if you will. So it is like a comic illustrated. How would you describe?
Yeah, it's 45 pages. It's fantasy genre, and it is difficult to pitch this to people. I think we're working on issue two now, and issue two is going to be so easy to pitch because I'm just going to tell people what's in issue one.
Yeah,
But like, I do feel like if I tell people too much, then it's like, oh well, that's everything that happens in issue one. But there's a young man, and uh, if you like Tolkien, if you like Lord of the Rings, it's kind of like that. Like it has um, there's going to be some magic, and then there's also going to be some fighting. It's kind
yeah,
of that level of technology involved. Yeah.
yeah. As far as the setting, obviously, again, it is a fictional world, but it is kind of Greek and Roman kind of
Yeah.
inspired, Mediterranean, if you will. What exactly inspired the story? Like, how did you come up with it in general?
Uh, it went through many drafts. The first grain of like the idea for a story, I can't tell you without giving it away again. But uh, I I develop like outlines, and then I do like a first draft, and then I sent it to like a reader, and they gave me notes, and I did like three or four drafts that way. And
Yeah,
then my whole script is about 100 pages, but this issue one is just the first 17 pages of
just
no
script,
my no pictures script.
which
And
comes out
mine
to 45
yeah, yeah,
illustrated.
yeah. So I think altogether, the illustrated story, maybe like 250 pages.
Okay, so how many issues are you anticipating or hoping for?
I think five issues. And then the last issue will probably be a little bit longer. But yeah, about five issues maybe.
And eventually, would you want this in a graphic novel format where it's all collected in one? Is that
I
something you
think
thought
I
about?
think that would be fun. That could be cool. What do they call it? Like a
Graphic novel.
compendium or like, yeah, graphic novel. Yeah.
And yeah, that's another. Yeah, that would be another way of putting it. Depending on how long it is.
Yeah.
Um, those are convenient as far as one sitting. There's something about the graphic novel format as far as having them all in one, especially in the physical format where you have it
Right.
right there.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Though there is something about depending on why you get comics. You have the different covers. There's a collectability.
Right. Do
Um,
you do you collect at all?
Not anymore. I still have some as a kid, but no, I still have some comics, but I don't buy any anymore. Pretty much no.
Okay, okay.
Rarely. But I
You
do have
have
a lot as a kid.
you have a favorite comic?
That's a hard question. Not might be a cop out, but no.
No,
I would
okay.
really have to think about that. There's different ones I really like, but as a absolute favorite, no.
You could list like the top 5 or something like that.
What are your top five?
Well, I I studied like script and screenwriting,
That's
and
right.
so then comics seemed like a really good outlet to try and use my scripts and like share my scripts with people. Um, I have not actually read very many comics, but I do read. Right now, I'm reading Charles Dickens. Um,
That's old school. For
yeah,
sure, that's cool.
I had this great books list that I'm working through. So like it started with the Iliad, the Odyssey, and it's gone through. And right now I'm on Charles Dickens. And
It's
it
interesting you mentioned that because I can see that, like I mentioned, those influences,
yeah.
like with those stories. And it's interesting when you were talking about with script writing. I know you're out in LA for a while. Obviously, that's towards TV and film, but the visual
Yeah.
medium of comics kind of, I mean, obviously, when you do it, if you've seen a storyboard where obviously it's sometimes sketches and drawings of like different scenes of
Yeah.
the what they're thinking of. So that in itself is very much comic related,
Right.
how
Right.
that's done.
Yeah. I really enjoyed working with my artist because he's really kind of independent.
Yeah,
Uh, if if you look at my scripts, they're very like basic. There's not a lot of detail visually. And
yeah.
so this visual world that you saw with all the architecture and all their clothing and the different expressions, like he gets the credit for all of that because my scripts are very basic and he just takes it and kind of brings it to life there.
Some artists prefer that if they're more like that. I remember hearing that Stan Lee was kind of like that, where visually he pretty much let them dictate that. But how did you find the artist?
I found him on YouTube,
Oh, really?
watching YouTube videos. Yeah. And then I started following him on Instagram. And so I eventually mentioned my project and yeah, we started working on this thing together. We're doing issue 2 now, and we have all the storyboards for that, and that's also going to be 45 pages. He made it exactly as long as the first issue, and today I saw the line art for the page 1 of issue 2. So that's exciting. It's coming along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When are you anticipating issue two being out?
Uh, from what I understand, other like big companies, they have like a ton of people working on a comic, so they can like put out a comic a month, right? But
Yeah,
for us, like he's the main artist on it, so he does like the lines and the colors
and
and
the inking and all that.
all of it. And so it'll like 3 or 4 months at least. And then it takes me a little while to go back and forth with the printer that I use in Florida. So it'll be a while before issue 2 is ready.
It might be next year.
Ah, I hope before next year. Well, I guess we're already halfway through this
Yeah,
year.
but it eventually will be out.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is the thing when you're working for low staff. It's harder to pinpoint exact printing dates. As I mean, if you're a huge company like Marvel or DC, they have resources where they can really pinpoint when a release date will be. And even then, sometimes it gets delayed.
Right.
Um,
And they like give everybody like deadlines and everything. I don't really have deadlines with my artist. It's just kind of like when he finishes. And sometimes he has something that he wants to like fix. Like he thinks, "Oh, it's gonna look better if I do it this way." So I like to like give him the time to make it shine.
I know it's really great that you have that flexibility because with big companies, there's a strict deadline a lot of times. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
And they know that if you're going to work for Marvel or DC or what have you, you know this. That's just how the setup is. That's why, unfortunately, a lot of times the artwork looks rushed with some comics. Um,
Yeah.
it's a business. I understand that, but bad artwork can really bring down a great story. And I feel like
Yeah.
really incredible artwork can kind of uplift a mediocre story. But obviously, when you have the story and artwork, when they're both really working well, um, I feel like that really is what brings the medium out.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if this ever would come to pass, but it would be interesting if there ever was a live adaptation. I'm just thinking how that would work out. That would be, I don't know, how would that go about? How would, in your opinion?
I would love to see that. It might be easier to do like an animation than a
Yeah,
live
because it's,
action.
yeah, because just of the, well, it's not a spoiler. There's a lot of intricate stuff in the background. There's a lot of like places that it's not real world. It's not like you can shoot in the city or even in the country. Really, I mean, there's just different things. And
Yeah.
animation's not cheap, but it would still be cheaper than off the building sets.
Right.
Even CGI sets would still be pretty expensive, especially if it's done well.
Yeah. But it would be awesome to see it live action. Super cool. Yeah. Are
And
you
again,
excited for the Odyssey movie coming out? It's kind of in the similar genre.
it is, and it's not the summer, if I'm not mistaken.
Soon, I think. Yeah.
I thought it was in July or August. I was kind of surprised. I don't know fully about Christopher Nolan's background, but I was surprised he chose that one. But I'll wait to hear what I think. I mean, he has a pretty good track record. There are obviously other adaptations. There's one from I think the 50s where it's of its time, but it's interesting. It's just the great difficult thing about it is it's such a classic story where there's been so many, I don't want to say rip-offs, but so much has been influenced
Yeah.
by it that
Jason and the Argonauts.
yeah, so
I've
doing
seen that
this
one.
yeah, so doing this again, it's really hard to make the story fresh. I don't know exactly how they're going to go about it. There's a lot at stake. I know there's a lot of money. I mean, he's a director like Oppenheimer made almost $1 billion, if not that. So I mean, he's able to take more obscure type of stuff and make money off of it. It just I don't know. That gets into a larger thing because it's great we're on this topic because you went to LA for screenwriting. So you did you initially, I assume, wanted to get into the TV film business? Was that your original goal?
Yeah, yeah. I was in LA for about 2 years, and I worked at Grauman's Chinese Theater, where they do the handprints
Oh
and stuff.
yes, I've been
Yeah,
there on that. I stayed very close to there. For anyone who hasn't been in LA, I enjoyed my time there, but that traffic is horrible.
yeah, yeah. I would take the bus while I was there, and I did not recommend that. I hated when they would have special events.
Oh, and they closed down pretty much that section.
And then the bus is rerouted, and I don't know where it's rerouted to, and how am I gonna get
Yeah.
home? Ugh.
Oh yeah, and it just and I know because I met you. Long story short, briefly, I was in school in Georgia, and I know because I lived in Atlanta for a while as a kid too, and I've been there since. That traffic's horrible on its own, Atlanta.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Whenever I fly anywhere, I don't fly into or out of Atlanta. I try and go to Savannah. The Savannah airport is so chill and nice.
and Savannah's a pretty city. Savannah's a
Yeah,
very pretty city,
yeah,
and it's funny you mentioned that. I've always avoided LAX as much as possible. I've flied in Palm Springs or even Santa Monica. Um,
right.
it's more chill than obviously LAX. It's a huge international airport, so at different points, if you're trying to fly to Asia or whatnot,
Right.
um, and I am. I won't get into it, but I am flying in Asia next year, and I know that it's probably going to be an LAX uh,
Ah,
routing thing. But I mean, I'm not getting out of the airport, so it won't be a big deal. But did you change your
well,
mind?
happy flying.
Thank you.
The
Did,
I've done that route, and that is a long flight
I
uh,
know
across the Pacific.
the longest flight I've had is the one from Italy back, and that's a long flight.
How long was that one?
14 hours.
Yeah, yeah, this will be something like that.
It's
It's a
it,
strange experience because you're like, I've just watched four movies. I've really been in this plane a long time.
I can't watch movies. Like I read like that. I have an easier time reading.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of
You just bring a book and then
a
just
Kindle, but yes.
okay, yeah. Yeah, that's I'm reading Dickens on like a Kindle app and it's like I think 99 cents or something to buy like the complete works of Charles Dickens. It's such a
Yeah.
good deal. And you don't have to like fill up shelf space with books that I'm probably not going to read again, but it's like a Kindle is amazing.
But it's portable. I mean, there's something about physical media, but that is
Yeah.
portable.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And on that note, with the Kindle, your work is available through Amazon.
Oh, I was hoping that it would be up by now. I'm gonna put it on
Okay.
indieplanet.com. Yeah, and so people can get it either like a printed copy and it'll look like this. Yeah,
Oh, yes.
yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Or you can get a digital download on there.
Okay, I'll include the link. And if it ever is on Amazon, I'll include that as well.
Okay.
Um, so, back from when you were in screenwriting, um, did you change your mind, or is it that something you still want to pursue as far as being in television or in film?
I am still interested in it, and like I'll a lot of my YouTube watching is like watching people like review recent movies or television shows, things like that. So I'm
Yeah,
still very interested in it. I think comics provides a nice creative outlet, and if the comics did really well, then maybe I would pursue some sort of independent project.
I see. But you just
Yeah.
gravitated towards the comics aspect of it for
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's interesting. I won't tell how old we are, but I basically, from the time when we first started went into college to now, so
Yeah.
much has changed with film. Obviously, YouTube's exploded. So you have a
Yeah.
lot of projects just solely on YouTube. And with the film industry, it's kind of sad.
It's starting to cross over. Like in the box office now, you have dark rooms or is it back rooms? Maybe it's back rooms and
Yeah.
Obsession. And I think those were two kind of horror films, low budget,
Yeah.
but made by or directed by YouTubers and extremely successful, extremely profitable. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's interesting to see like the independence on the rise. I kind of like that.
I feel like it's there's kind of a backlash because with especially with theaters nowadays, unless you're going to an indie theater, it's pretty much only blockbusters. Like really at this point, and the theaters are almost dying at this point, but it's only like major blockbusters. You don't see really don't see comedies pretty much anymore, or romantic films, or like non-action films. As a
Yeah.
kid, you would used to see those in a theater, but now you just don't. It's just very amount of films that are in the theater is almost film. It's hard to see a movie in a theater that's not made under $100 million.
Yeah.
That's no
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah. It's crazy. They need to learn to spend less money.
Or just have different selections, like where it's not just like major blockbusters in theaters.
Yeah.
And I understand there's something with Netflix and streaming as well. It just I don't know if it's ever going to be the same as actually being in the theater with that huge screen with people. There's a community social aspect,
Yeah.
and I'm afraid with streaming and the such that something that may be taken away and not as relevant. I don't know if you have
Yeah.
any thoughts on that.
Yeah. You kind of feel sorry for the theaters because they're not the ones making the movies.
Yeah,
And they want to have movies that people want, but like Hollywood has been making films they want to make and not films that like are as interesting to fans, I think.
well, it's that, and also everything. A lot of things have changed. There's so much competition now. obviously with the internet, a lot of times people would rather just sadly just be on TikTok or whatnot, and that's upsetting to me because
Yeah.
I feel like that type of format, you need to watch something that's more than just a minute long. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I
And
ask, what was the last film you saw in the theater?
oh gosh, it was Superman. I remember because it was last July. It was around my birthday, and my brother took me. I usually don't see him often. He's busy with his family, but we drove there and saw it. So
Okay.
I'll admit I don't go to the theater that often anymore. I am
Right.
a very busy person, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and again, selection wise, I do like the fact that drive-ins are kind of making a comeback. And when they show an older film, a classic film in the drive-in, there is something about that where you can go see like an old classic film.
Okay.
Because I've done that before, like for example, with like The Shining and different films, and there's something
Oh yeah.
really cool about seeing a
With Jack
film.
Nicholson?
Yes,
Yeah.
so there's something really cool about seeing like an old movie for the first time like that. Obviously, the movie
Yeah.
came out before I was born, but it's something cool where you can see something like that in the theater of a classic movie that you just weren't around for when it first came out. And obviously, you can
Yeah,
go
that's
much further
super
back.
cool. They should do that. Yeah. If they want to make some more money, they should continue like re-releasing like the old classic films that like people our age never got to see in theaters because we weren't around.
Yeah, especially from like 70s, 60s or whatnot.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
even the comic industry, in relation to that, I feel like a lot indies kind of making the rise on that. I don't know if you go to comic conventions. I don't as much as I used to, but there's a lot of vendoring opportunities. You see a lot of indie artists and writers there. Have you thought about
I should
going to
do that.
some?
I I don't know if I've ever been to one, but I should do that.
That would be a great outlet as far
Yeah.
as having the comments there. People can buy them.
Yeah, meeting
Um,
people. Yeah.
in networking, that's a huge, huge thing.
Mm.
You know, that with any type of thing, especially movies, TV, or
Yeah.
comics.
Yeah.
Um, that's just contacting the convention. I don't know which ones are near you, but like just contacting them because they usually have a
Yeah.
vendor booth, and it depends. Sometimes there's a fee, sometimes not. Usually you have to book it very early in advance, like
Uh,
when it's first announced. You just have to keep updated
Get
on
in
it,
line. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it can be done.
I know you do a lot of music. Do you
Yeah.
have to do certain like networking events like that
Oh,
for
absolutely.
yeah.
In a different way, but absolutely. It's not always fun, but yeah, absolutely. It's not quite the same. It's not a convention per se. It's just
Right.
knowing a bunch of people. Something that's done over time, and that's the same thing with comics or what have you. Because I've known some people who've made comics, maybe on a lesser scale, not quite of what you're doing. It's a guy I know from LA, Ben Wan. He has it's kind of like a manga series now.
Okay, yeah.
But basically, he's gone to conventions, mostly like LA Comic Con, but out there. But and he has it online too. But
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of time, that's how he gets out and how people see his work. It's through
Conventions.
conventions.
Yeah.
And I know you're down south right now, but basically, I know. I mean, there's conventions in the area. Just looking them up and finding them.
Right, right,
And
right.
speaking of which, at some point, I need a tour down south again. It's been quite some time, but I do
Yeah.
miss playing down there.
Yeah.
Um, in the fall or wintertime, not when it's summertime, it gets hot down there.
Yeah, it's getting hot.
That is something I remember. Um, so when the 5 issues are said and done,
Yeah.
are you thinking about doing another project, comic project, a continuation of something new?
I do have another script ready, and that one would be like a space adventure.
To
So
something totally different.
yeah, so it's a different genre, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so are you still working on that script or is it ready?
That one is pretty much ready, and I'm
Really?
working on another one now.
So there's
Yeah,
a third idea.
there's a third. Yeah.
It may ask in general what that might encompass.
The third one is like superhero-ish and
Okay.
aliens and stuff.
So something more, I guess, lack of a better term, like what we associate, at least in America, with comics.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like, well, indie's a bit different, and I do enjoy probably more than ever if I read something that's non-superhero related, just because that's almost oversaturated, and I enjoyed that as a kid, and I still kind
Yeah.
of do. But I mean, I feel like that's why manga's exploded from
Okay.
Japan, just because I don't know how much you've read manga, but they have stories about almost everything.
Right.
So
I've watched some anime. Probably watched
okay,
more anime than read manga. But
okay,
yeah.
but in that case, this type of stuff that's shown, it's much more than superheroes. There's so many different genres of storytelling,
Yeah. All
and
the genres.
I don't know why with comics with America it's different, or just I mean America's known for superhero comics. I would still say in that genre it would still be number one, obviously, but I don't know why it's just stuck on that in general. Not there's exceptions, but
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
that superhero thing you're thinking of, without spoiling it or whatnot, is there any influences on that, or is there any direction you want to take that in?
Mm, that one maybe more than the other ones. It's kind of a romance. Yeah. Then the main character is like an alien and he's sort of uh he sort of gets demoted to like a scout and he finds Earth and so he's sort of helping his people conquer Earth, but then he kind of
Interesting.
falls in love with an Earthling. But she also recently got superpowers, so there's a lot kind of going on there.
That's very interesting. Um, it's not the same. It's different, but something that I was thinking about when you were saying that was a Silver Surfer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just because he's an alien who goes to Earth. Now, there's a lot of
Yeah.
differences with what you said, but that was just the closest thing that kind of came to mind.
I
Which I
kind
think,
of yeah, that kind I can see the similarities there. Yeah.
but as far as the space one, I feel like that would be really cool. That's actually, unfortunately, it's been a long time since I've really read a space related comic. Obviously, with the Fantastic Four and some of the sci-fi stuff,
Yeah.
you get that. And there's, if you're working for the same artist, I don't know if you will, but there's a lot of cool opportunities with just designing space, different
Yeah.
planets.
Right,
If
right.
that's involved with your story, I don't know if it's just a spaceship, but if there's ever the planets or whatnot, that could be something very interesting. And
Yeah. The space one, the premise sort of is that mankind lives on like a volcanic planet and the whole chain of volcanoes goes off and so everybody has to migrate for like 9 months to like an ice planet where they live. And and it's like Old Faithful, the
yeah,
geyser, except volcanoes. So it goes off very regularly. So maybe like every 25 years, everybody has to move planets. And it's a very dangerous thing. You could pirates or like um technical difficulties, all kinds of space problems. And
yeah.
there's like four main characters, and they're the last ones to leave the planet because of various reasons, and they're all kind of thrown together on this one ship to try and make the
I,
journey.
I'm glad that's not really the case with us. That would be, can you imagine how much? I can't even
That would be
imagine
awful.
beyond
Yeah.
awful. I don't even know. Well, obviously, it's not going to be possible with how space traveling is now, but even if it was, that's just,
Yeah.
it's a headache. Um, but you are planning on having the same artist. What are you planning
I
on?
think so. Yeah, we work really well together. As
That
long
would,
as he continues to want to work with me.
okay.
We'll see. Because I think he also has like his own book that he wants to work on at some point. So
Yeah.
I'll keep going as long as he wants to.
Oh, that's nice. And I really did enjoy his artwork. It kind of reminds me of a few artists I've read in the past, and I've actually seen at conventions.
Okay.
I don't know. Does he is he from the States?
No, he's a foreign guy. Yeah. I liked the first page particularly. I didn't realize this at first because I hadn't read a lot of comics, but since then, like I've picked up a few. And some comics, like when you open like the first page, there's like a ton of text and it's very small.
Oh
And
yes.
I find that kind of like, it's kind of like off-putting a little bit. So I like for there to be like either just a few speech bubbles or like nothing just to kind of like visually woo you into the story, you
Oh
know?
yeah. I feel like especially with indie comics, you see more of that, which is interesting. You try, especially like with mainstream comics, you see more of the text stuff because usually I feel like with the credits they put them at the beginning. I that might be industry standard. So the art, I understand the artists need to get credited, but having them at the end or elsewhere with indie comics, you really want to draw the viewer in, especially if they're at a convention, opening it up. You want something to draw them in like immediately, because if it doesn't, they'll just put it back down. I know I
Yeah, yeah.
would. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so that is very important.
And I don't
Uh,
know if it's because I'm getting older, but my eyes aren't very good. So I like the font size because if the some
yes,
things the font is very small and then I have to read it like this, and if I need it close, then I can't appreciate the art on the page. So I like kind of not large text, but like not small text, you know?
I will say that is kind of the advantage of digital comics because you can
Oh,
increase the size.
yeah,
You can increase the picture size to different panels if need be.
right.
So that is nice. But again, that's a whole other skill in itself. Lettering is what they call it in comics.
Yeah,
And
he did the lettering too. Um, and English is not his first language. So
oh wow,
I was overwhelming him with like notes on the lettering because like he does such a good job with like the panels and planning all of that. I don't really have very much notes, but like I guess because I studied like script and screenwriting, like
yeah,
I'm kind of particular about the text. And so he set up like a meeting with his agent, and we had kind of like a meeting like this where we went through all the text and kind of made notes of what we wanted it to be. But yeah, he does that too. He does all of it.
and it's really the font's really nice on it. That is
Yeah, I
something
like
that
it.
people don't realize. You don't think about it, but you'll know if it's bad. Like
Yeah.
good lettering, it's not distracting and it's not bad. It fits well, and to where you just read it and you don't even think about it. That's really core to the lettering person's job. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously on the cover you want lettering to be elaborate, but inside you just want it to be comfortable to read. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, at times I've seen bad lettering, and unfortunately, at different points with indie artists, I've seen at different points it kind of brings something down just because it's a choice that they will make that I don't personally, that I find it hard to read, which
Right.
should never be the case, or
Yeah.
almost never. Um, so you said his first. Where's he from, if me ask?
He's from Iran.
Okay, so that's very difficult because the lettering, it's not like with Spanish or whatnot or French where it's pretty much the same letters. He's feeling because I don't know if it's Arabic or whatnot, but their
Yeah.
lettering system's different. And
Completely different.
but
But he does very well for with English.
I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't know this, so that's a good sign. It looked nice. It read nicely.
Yeah.
So that's very much a good sign.
One thing that's kind of new experience because I was sort of trained with like film and television
Yeah.
is the sound effects
Oh,
and using sound effects. So I'm not sure if I would use as many sound effects in issue two. I don't know. Um, but I can see how they can be useful in comics to kind of add maybe tension or kind of communicate what action is happening on the screen.
Oh yeah, for sure. Without any dialogue, sometimes you have like a sound effect, like a word or like something. I mean, there's obviously a cliche thing like bam, pow, wop, but like as
Yeah.
far as something more subtle, I can't think of a good example, but I've seen it where there's no dialogue and it's like, and sometimes it'll be very small, like if someone's walking and it's like a creak of how it's without showing you, it's hard to describe, but
Yeah.
it can be done in a really cool way. Um,
We were doing the text meeting and we were trying to figure out if we should use a sound effect for like a spear going through the water. And
yeah.
so that was a kind of a funny thing to have a meeting about, right? Now, what should we write for the spear going through the water? What sound is that?
Yeah, and that's difficult to put into
I
words.
forget what he.
That is
Yeah,
very difficult, but it
I think.
definitely can add something to it. And again, the hard thing about
Yeah,
making a comic with these panels, etc., is what to include and more importantly, what not to include. And I feel like what's useful for you is you've done
yeah,
storyboard with your background, which very much I feel like you know what needs to be in a scene, basically how to describe a scene without having too much. Because
yeah,
obviously it's not film or TV, it's not continuous, it's panel by panel. And each page, each artwork, from what
yeah.
comic book artist I met a long time ago told me that each page on its own it still has to work and be good, even if you're just reading that one page. You might not get the full story, but it still has to work on its own. It still has to draw someone
Mm,
in. Um, that's how it's helped with his
yeah,
writing and artwork. And I agree. I feel like the best comics do that for sure. Cool. Well, I'm running out of time, unfortunately,
right.
but thank you, Rachel. I will include the links to your work. Appreciate your time and best of luck to you.
And I'll send you the links when I have them. Thank you so much. This was really wonderful.
Cool. Thanks, Rachel. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.